Hey, what's up? I didn't see you there. Welcome to another episode of Talking Timepieces with Tony. Ask the Magic Watch Ball. And say hi to Uku. Uku rarely makes appearances in my videos, but she used to want to be the producer of the show. But anyway, for those of you who don't know, if you're a new subscriber and you don't know what Ask the Magic Watch Ball is, basically it's just a Q&A. It's kind of a humorous thing. I know a lot of people in the watch community don't have senses of humor, or senses of humor? A sense of humor. But lucky enough, all of you guys watching do have a sense of humor, right? It's like a crystal ball, only different. A lot of people say, well, I don't have a crystal ball. No, they don't. But I have a magic watch ball, 79% accurate, 60% of the time. I'm wearing my Rolex 126710 BLNR GMT Master 2 Bat Man with a Jubilee bracelet, Terrence Trent D'Arby. All right, let's roll the intro and we'll get into the questions. By the way, if you have a question for the Magic Watch Ball, just leave a comment and ask your question there, and I'll feature it in my next episode. I do these episodes on Friday. Let's roll the intro. All right. Uku, she's very... Look at you, just the cutest little kitty on the planet, aren't you? She loves me, and I love her. All right, so the first question for the Magic Watch Ball. Okay, Watch Ball, what is Tony's next Rolex going to be? All right, Watch Ball, what's my next Rolex going to be? This comes from JJJFFFPPP. Okay. What's my next Rolex going to be? It appears your next Rolex may be a Datejust or another OP. And when I say Datejust, maybe another Datejust. Quite possibly a 36mm Datejust or a 36mm OP. There you go. Now I give my 2 cents. Yeah, seems legit, man. I'll probably go for the... I'm kind of getting into the little smaller watches. Not little smaller watches, but 36. And I've had plenty of 36mm Rolex Datejusts, and I don't know. I had kind of felt like at the time they were too small and whatever, and they just sat around. Speaking of that, one of my viewers, Alfie Ronald Dog, oh man, I'm so sorry, dude. I just can't remember. I just see your first Alfie, whatever. Said a huge thank you to the Magic Watch Ball because he sent me a question a while ago asking if he will get the GMT Batman, and my watch ball said yes, you will get it, and that was it. And then he got the call for the Batman. So don't underestimate the powers of the Magic Watch Ball. All right. Next question comes from 67 New England. Watch Ball. What watch would Tony wear if he was going to Watches and Wonders? Man, I want to go. What watch would I wear if I was going to Watches and Wonders, Watch Ball? You would most likely wear a Swatch. You'd bring a Rolex, but you would wear a Swatch just to kind of piss on the egomaniacs that attend those types of functions. Wow, Watch Ball can be a smartass and can be kind of rude. But yes, I would probably bring a Swatch, and just simply because I'm not into the hoity-toityness of some of the characters that are involved in the watch industry. In fact, even once when I was picking up a Rolex at Bindi Jewelers, and this is last year, maybe the year before, I don't know. Even before I had the bigger spending history, I walked in with a Swatch on just to kind of, isn't like an FU kind of like, because I don't care. Just letting you all know I don't care, so I'm wearing a Swatch, But yeah, I would bring a Rolex. I'd wear a Rolex for sure. And I would probably have a Swatch just for the hell of it, not for any, not to say, hey, I'm cooler because I have a Swatch. One of those reverse snobs. I'm not that guy either. So, all right, so that's what I would probably do. What else? I don't know. I might bring a Mont Blanc. I might bring a few of them, and if I was, depending on who I was visiting, like for instance, I was going to Cartier, I'd wear my Cartier. If I was going to go visit Mont Blanc, I'd go to Mont Blanc. Breitling wasn't there, so they don't count. Anyway, but all right, this next one is from Alec Lemus. Hi Tony, I'm a new subscriber and love your videos. Thanks, dude. Oh, okay, so this isn't actually even a question for the watch ball. It just says, I had to listen to Read Between the Lines and really enjoyed it. I'm a big fan of 07 and thought some of your tracks had a similar vibe. Similar vibes. Super impressed, Tony. Emoji. Best from Sussex, UK. Hey, Alec, man, I appreciate that. You know, that record, Read Between the Lines, came out probably just over 20 years ago. And it wasn't, actually none of my records are my favorite record, but it was, you know, me as a singer, songwriter, and I was very difficult to work with 20 years ago, just in the sense that the way that I wanted that record done was just raw, in your face, like sitting in a room recording, you know, just live with no punch-ins, live guitar, live vocals, and any drums live. Everything I wanted live. Record didn't turn out how I wanted to. However, it sold a lot of copies. I hadn't heard it for about 20 years until I got this comment, and then I listened to it. I cringed a little bit because that's what I do when I hear my own music. But I appreciated anyone who does like it. It sold pretty well. All right, so thank you. Ristopia, question which might fit in the video about AD gifts that you said you had in mind. Do you gift your AD? I will always want to be appreciative, but is it creepy? Is it creepy to gift your AD? Is it creepy to gift your AD? Well, he's not even asking the watch ball. Yes and no. I mean, it just depends on your relationship with your AD. You know what I mean? If you walk in there and you've only been in there a couple of times, or you haven't bought anything, you go and you start bringing gifts, they're gonna go, who is this guy? You know what I mean? Again, it's almost like building your relationship with the AD. You got to know how to do it, you know. And there's a right time and a wrong time. Say, for instance, you just walked in there and you purchased a watch, but you're talking and you're casually talking to, you know, your rep, and you'd say, hey man, I'm gonna go grab a coffee. Do you want me to get you a coffee, or what can I get you? And then if they say, oh, I don't want anything, just come back with a gift card and say, hey, I know you said maybe next time, and here's a gift card. You know, just kind of the way you play it is how it's gonna come off. You know what I mean? If you walk in there and, you know, put a condom down and some Vaseline and say, I'm ready to bend over, you know, he's gonna, what the fuck? Sorry. You know, some people just really go for the serious ass kissing, and that's just too much too. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, sorry about that. It's Friday, man. Come on, let's lighten up, everyone. Jeez. Again, those people that don't have the sense of humor. I'm gonna unsubscribe. Oh, jeez. You said Vaseline and condom. You can't say that on YouTube. Jeez. This is a serious watch channel. I have a Rolex and a Patek Philippe. Paul Thompson. The Platinum Daytona is a stunning watch. Although if I ever get a chance to buy one, I'd go for the white Panda dial in steel. Maybe the watch ball could tell us if the Daytona would ever be available to anyone once Rolex build their new facility. P.S. I'd love to see the Black Bay 54 unboxing review. I think Tudor really did something special with this one, and I can see it fitting nicely into my collection. Yeah, I think I can see it fitting nicely into my collection too, but I'm not 100% sure until I try it on and look at the watch, because it's very similar to the 58. I had the 58, but anyway, I just have to check it out, you know, because there's still other watches I want too, but I do need a beater watch. Okay, so will the Platinum Daytona, the Platinum Daytona is a stunning watch, but will the Daytona still be available once they get their new facility up and running? No. You know, let's put my 2 cents worth. Okay, so Rolex are going to be increasing their production. You're probably going to see more models in the Rolex ADs eventually, when even before the facility's built, but I still doubt you're going to start seeing the sport models, and especially the Daytona, in a display case where you can just walk in and pick it up. I just don't think that's going to happen. I don't ever see that happening. unless the market just completely crashes and something really major happens. But I think Rolex, in a sense, they're not holding watches back. A lot of people go, well, Rolex are holding watches back because of this, that. Well, if they were doing that, then they wouldn't be building a new facility. It's common sense. Each Rolex right now have 4 facilities. And people think that those 4 facilities are just pumping out watches, and that's not the case. You have one facility that specializes in bracelets. You have one facility that specializes in movements. You have one for cases. You have one for gold or whatever more high-end stuff. And then eventually it goes to a facility where everything's all sort of put together, cased, and shipped out. So I don't see that that's going to happen anytime soon, but I thank you, Paul Thompson, for your question, man. Last question, Iron Lung 11. How long a wait would you estimate for the Pepsi GMT on a Jubilee with prior purchase history? I'm hoping less than a year or 2, but who knows? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Rolex, watch ball, Rolex, Pepsi, GMT on a Jubilee, prior purchase history. A year? 2 years? How long is a piece of string? The question is open-ended. Basically, it just depends. What is your purchase history? What's your relationship with your AD? And then, once we know that, it can be more determined on an estimated wait time. All right, so yeah, dude, I mean, prior history, I mean, did you buy a Hamilton in their cheap department, or did you buy a Jaeger-LeCoultre? Did you buy another Rolex? Did you buy what? I don't know what your spending history is, man. You could have a seriously high dollar spending history or not so much, and that's going to kind of come into the equation unless you just have a really good relationship with your AD. What's the relationship like? I mean, and at the same time, depending on where you're at in the world, is depending on where that, I think, with GMTs, I think certain parts of the world will get more GMTs than others, so to speak. And the way that they're allocated, if there's an AD in some podunk sort of town and they get one a year, and then there's 200 people on the waiting for it, then no, I don't see it happening in a year or even 2. But I guess, if you have a fairly decent spending history and you've got a fairly decent relationship with your AD, and then you ask them, what do you think and what the chances are and what have you bought previously, you know what I mean? If you just bought an OP, you might not get up to that, you might have to sort of step up a little bit more, get a sub. Anyway, and then just ask him, what the wait time, what he thinks it would be. They don't often know, but they can say, well, we'll get a shipment in this, whatever. So could it be a year? Yeah, it could be less. It could be 2 years. Yeah, it could be more. You know what I mean? Anyway, having said that, you guys, I appreciate all your questions, and keep. I keep liking and subscribing, but it doesn't really do any good, so do whatever you want. But I do appreciate everyone who does watch my channel, and I do appreciate everyone who does subscribe, and I do appreciate everyone who comments and hits the like button. All right, so having said that, I'm out of here, you guys, and we'll talk to you soon. You have a great weekend.